You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. If you want to understand how deranged these folks are, Michael, you've got Lindsey Graham out there saying that, we're going to stand with Trump and we're going to have hearings on the illegal voting. I mean, it's just absolutely ludicrous what you're seeing from these people. But this is also why, Michael, where I keep saying, I don't want to hear no bullshit about how we need to reach out to them. How we need to understand the other 70 million who voted for Trump. No. These are people who willingly voted for racist, who had no problem overlooking everything. These are people who don't care. These are people who will say and do anything. This is why I keep saying to Democrats, when you get power, you wield it. These folks have no integrity, no credibility, no dignity. The fact that very few Republicans have actually come out. Susan Collins, she dropped an announced tweet today congratulating Joe Biden on winning. Mitt Romney, he was on the Sunday shows over the weekend, and he was actually speaking to this very issue. This is what he had to say.
The election, it's not just a question of, we have questions about this place or that place. And we should note, Republican election lawyer Ben Ginsburg, who's a CNN commentator, he's looked into these complaints about voter fraud and the like, and he doesn't see any of these complaints as having merit. Election officials in Philadelphia, Republican election officials, and throughout the country say this was a clean election. Does it concern you at all that President Trump and his team are out there saying that he won and lying about the integrity of the election with wild allegations?
You're not going to change the nature of President Trump in these last days, apparently, of his presidency. He is who he is, and he has a relatively relaxed relationship with the truth, and so he's gonna keep on fighting until the very end. But I'm convinced that once all remedies have been exhausted, if those are exhausted in a way that's not favorable to him, he will accept the inevitable. But don't expect him to go quietly in the night. That's not how he operates.
Avis, let me tell you how crazy these people are, how nuts these people are. Kelly Loeffler now wants the Republican Secretary of State in Georgia to resign because he has said this was a clean election. The Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, a Republican, has said we have absolutely no evidence of voter fraud. Now they're turning on Republicans in these states. Roland McDaniel last week charged that in Oakland County, Michigan, that there was 2,000 fraudulent ballots. The clerk, who is a Republican, came out and said, basically, who the hell are you to question my integrity, and said that is simply a lie. That shows you how dangerous and evil these people are.
Absolutely. I mean, they've shown from day one as an administration that they're willing to throw anybody under the bus, including their own people. I mean, how many times does the king of wanting loyalty has shown that he's not loyal to anybody, including his own supporters? This is the same person that left two groups of thousands of supporters out in the cold for hours after one of his super spreader events. This is the same person who keeps on firing person after person after person throughout his time in office, specifically because for some reason they may have told the truth. God forbid, about something. This is the type of criminal enterprise that we have that's running the White House right now. This is not an administration. This is like some sort of crazy family mafia deal that we have that has taken over the government. And it's not just Trump. That's the worst part. It's all his other minions. The Lindsey Grahams, these career politicians, God forbid, they are the swamp, okay, who have now aligned themselves with this criminal mentality. And so I could completely agree with you. The last thing that I'm looking to do right now is to hand over an olive branch to these criminals. You don't negotiate with terrorists. That's what I think of these people as. You defeat terrorists. And so to me, the number one focus that we really need right now, beyond this debacle, is to make sure that those 2 Senate seats that are up for election in Georgia are secured. I do not want 2 Senates, a Biden and Harris administration to a McConnell-run Senate, because there is no negotiation with terrorists, okay? We need to defeat them, put a stake in the heart. And for that to happen, we need to take over the Senate. And so to me, that is my primary focus at this moment.
And Shane, that really has to be the focus, because the reality is this here. If Democrats are able to pick up the seat with Pastor Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, that would be a 50-50 tie in the Senate. That means that on any ballot, any legislation where it's a tie, Vice President Kamala Harris can break the tie. Everything about Democrats has to be focused on those Georgia seats, because we already see exactly what Republicans are going to do if they are in control of the United States Senate.
Absolutely, Roland. And I agree with Dr. Avis and what my colleague is saying on the panel. I agree that we need to focus on the Senate seats. I'm going down to Georgia following Thanksgiving to do some work with the Reverend Raphael Warnock campaign. And in return, I also support John Ossoff because I think that we need to flip those seats. It's incredibly important. And I also remember, Roland, in 2008, when Barack Obama was elected, the goal, obviously, of the Republican leadership was to make him a one-term president. And if you remember, in 2012, he won re-election, but he came back to a Congress and a Senate that it was difficult to get much of anything through. They stonewalled him. So I think we need to focus on making sure that, yeah, we got the presidency. Yes, we actually lost some congressional seats, but let's get the Senate in a majority. However, I would have to disagree with Dr. Avis on the point that all of the 70 million people who voted for the president are racist. I know, or that they are terrorists. I know some people who, in fact, are African-American who voted for President Donald Trump. Now, whether it was out of ignorance or out of misunderstanding or not being clear about why they were voting for him, I do know some people who are good people who made a bad choice in the first time, in the first swing of the first election. And they didn't, make that choice this election, or some of them might have made that choice this election. But ultimately, these are good people that we should reach out to. And I do think that after we get the Senate, I do think that now we've got the presidency and we've got majority in the Congress, that we do need to focus on bringing civility back into this country. And one of the ways to do that is we have to demonstrate it. So we can't say we got control, now we're going to run you over like you did us. I don't think that.
Hold on. Why not? Because here's the deal. Let's just be real clear here. Republicans ran the hell over Democrats to put 218 federal judges on the bench. They said, damn the rules, we're going to put Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court. In fact, wait a minute. In fact, the rules of the Senate Judiciary Committee say you must have more than 2 Democrats present to vote out of committee. One was President Dick Durbin. They said, damn that, we voting anyway. So here's the deal. And this is the problem here. Democrats want to play nice by the rules. Republicans get power and say, damn the rules. Here's the piece. Since 1969, of the 18 Supreme Court justices that have been named, 14 have been named by Republican presidents. 14 out of 18. So, Shane, I'm sorry. Democrats, the The other side has showed you how we gonna roll with power. And Democrats better get some guts and say, I'm letting y'all know right now, we win those 2 Senate seats and it's 50-50, we gonna run a Boston on your ass. We gonna pass bills in the House, we gonna pass in the Senate. Because see, again, Democrats played nice with Merrick Garland. I said it then, I'll say it now, I will say it forever. President Barack Obama got played. Senator Orrin Hatch said, oh, Merrick Garland's a great pick, a wonderful pick. I'm like, dog, they ain't never gonna give that person a hearing. Appoint a black woman, which would have been the first in history. You would have had a black woman, all these old white men opposing a history-making sister that would have galvanized voters, that would have galvanized women. Man, wasn't nobody trying to fight for the 104th white man on the Supreme Court. They would have fought for the sister. But Democrats play checkers. Republicans are playing chess. And I'm saying, if you play the game of we gonna follow the rules, they gonna run over you all day.
But I don't think that you have to follow the rules per se to try to be civil and to try to be respectful. And all I'm saying is that we don't have to. I think that Democrats can still get in and steamroll, but it's how you steamroll. You can steamroll by cussing folks out and blasting folks, and we gonna flick you off, and we gonna do the same thing you did to us in the same way, or we can do it in a different way.
Hold up.
Bring dignity back into our democracy.
Well, first of all, what's the different way? I'm sorry, Michael, I'm confused here because Republicans have shown exactly how they lead, and you know what ends up happening? They get their way every single time, and Democrats are like, oh man, we shouldn't have done that. We should have done something different. I don't know where we go, and they stand there like, what happened?
No, I mean, I would argue that, though, because there has been a history in this democracy of both of these parties playing that same game and that same tune. And that is to push and shove down the throats of everyday people what the agenda is of that particular party. So I would argue that a little bit, Roland. There has been a history in this country of both of these parties.
Nah, we ain't talking history. We ain't talking history. We talking the last 12 years. And Michael, the last 12 years, Mitch McConnell said, Michael, in 2016, 8 Obama judges got confirmed. 8. The Republicans confirmed 5 in one day a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should have probably said this in the first time you called on me, Roland. I want to congratulate my law school professor, Vice President Biden, for his victory. But I would probably agree with Shane if there was different set of leadership. With this set of leadership on the GOP side, both in the House and the Senate, I mean, Kevin McCarthy came out the other day and said Trump won. I mean, with that kind of mindset and leadership, you cannot bring a knife to a gunfight. We have to stop doing that, Roland. You just mentioned that about how we like to play by the rules and want to be nice and sing Kumbaya. We're not in that moment yet. And maybe we will be after the 22 election or after the elections in January when we flip the Senate seats in Georgia. But until the leadership changes, we cannot have the kind of olive branch approach. It's not going to work. It's like dealing with a bully. I mean, we saw it for the last 4 years. Until you stand up to the bully, they're going to keep bullying you. So we have to have a different approach, a much more aggressive approach. That's why I'm proud of the Vice President and Senator Harris. They're moving forward. They don't care who concedes. They don't care who they get phone calls from. They're going to keep moving forward, getting ready to take over January 20th. So I like that they're not waiting. They don't need to wait. They won. And they can't handle it. This is who they are. And so we have to have a much more aggressive, frankly, thuggish approach to this transition.
Avis, I'm telling you right now, I know folks ain't trying to sit here and talk about Ice Cube. I'm telling you right now, the theme song of the Democrats should be No Vaseline.
Okay, I will let that reference to Ice Cube go. Okay, I have to agree with that. But let me
Fine. But you don't want Ice Cube? Scarface is No Tears.
I'm cool with all of it. Okay. I'm also into what movie was it when the dude said they can't handle the truth? I mean, all of it applies.
Jack Nicholson,
right?
A Few Good Men.
There you go. So here, let me be very specific because I'm very specific with my language, and I'm not really into hyperbole. The reason why I called a Mitch McConnell, a Lindsey Graham, a terrorist, and a Donald Trump is because it's not just their rhetoric, as bad as it is. It's the fact that they have an entire media ecosystem that they use as a propaganda arm to spread their lies and indoctrinate their followers. They radicalize their followers through an entire ecosystem of various different media outlets. Fox is only a small part of it. They have an entire media ecosystem, which includes radio shows, which includes digital shows, which includes all sorts of individual personalities on that right wing, the whole QAnon situation, where all they do is radicalize people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and prime their followers for violence, prime their followers to believe things that are not true, okay? And that's what creates a very dangerous situation. So I'm very specific with my language. That is terroristic activity, and it leads to violence. It's already led to the highest uptick in hate crime that we've seen in this nation for decades. It's already led to a record number of hate groups now having their home right here in America. So, if you don't think, what's happening right now when they are trying to delegitimize this election is that they're also spurring up anger and hatred towards the people who are elected. Now, I do believe that the Secret Service can do their job, but this is a very dangerous game that they are playing. People could die. Let me be very specific. People could die. And that's why it is terrorist activity being propagated by terrorists who are trying to hold on to undeserved power. They are trying now to have a coup so that they can maintain power against the will of the people. That is what's going on now. And that's really how I describe it. It may be shocking for some people to hear that language utilized, but if you were to look at their methodology, exactly what they're doing and what their outcome is that they want to achieve, I don't see any other way that you can describe it.
I mean, look, Shane, I hear you on all that civility talk. I know what these cats gonna do. I know what's coming. Here's what's about to come. We about to hear fiscal policy, the debt. Gotta cut. Mitch McConnell's already said, you're going to have to negotiate with me for your cabinet picks.
Sure did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump was like, you know what? I ain't wasting my time even going there. I'm just going to name them to interim positions. That's what Biden should do. I'm telling you right now. You cannot negotiate with terrorists.
No.
And what they are going to do, they are going to try to bring Joe Biden down to his knees. They are going to sit here and I'm telling you, what they've already shown what they're going to do. I'm telling you right, look, I know this is rough for some Democrats. I know it's rough when you talk about how you got to operate, but I just think, you know what? I think Orlando Jones said it best in the movie Biker Boys in terms of the attitude you got to have to deal with them. Go.
Stuttering and standing your ass around. Get down on your knees and bow that ass down. What?
That's how you got to operate. I'm telling you, these thugs, they don't know, they ain't playing nice.
Yeah.
McConnell,
Well,
McCarthy,
yeah.
Graham, all of them, they will unleash hearing after hearing after hearing after hearing. That's why everything has got to be on Georgia.
No, I would agree. And that's why I'm headed to Georgia. That's why I'm going to walk and going to canvass and going to work for my good friend, Reverend Raphael Warnock, because and John Ossoff, because we cannot afford to lose those 2 seats. It is critical. And that is why people need to understand, everyone's been focused on the presidency, but we have to think about Georgia, because without that majority, without those 2 seats, we are going to be in a place, as you said, Roland, and the rest of the panel, that we are going to be in a place where the Republicans are going to try to deadlock every single appointment and stall every single bit of work that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to try to do. So I think I totally agree. I just believe that we can do this. We can do this in a way that is, in some level, civil. I believe we can push that agenda. We can create that path. We can fight, and we can fight with our fist. We don't have to be, go to the corner and cry. We don't have to go to the corner and sit down and take it. However, we can do this in a way that is still teaching these folks that civility is still needed. We don't need in our own communities across the country a kind of climate where the regular person who voted for Donald Trump, the regular person who thought that Donald Trump was the change that was going to drain the swamp, as he said, and all he did was fill it back up. We don't need those people in our communities across this country. We don't need that kind of division. Wherever we can try to take that division down, we should try to do it.
No, here's the deal. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. What we got to understand is what took place to black people. We need to understand the massive amounts of misinformation that was targeted at black people who were buying into conspiracy theories. A lot of brothers who were talking about the Illuminati and all that sort of nonsense. Russia knew exactly what they were doing in 2016, and then Trump and his folks came right behind it. We broke down here how the Trump campaign had a targeted plan to disenfranchise and keep black folks from voting in 2016. And so we saw exactly what was taking place. Again, hey, I'm going to give you one more Orlando Jones, Michael Brown, in terms of, again, the attitude the Democrats have got to operate with being in charge. Watch this.
You keep campaigning for this ass whooping, you're going to get elected.
That's the only way you can roll, Michael. I'm telling you. This ain't the Senate 20 years ago. This ain't Joe Biden and John McCain can oppose each other on the floor and then go out for dinner and it's all good. This is not the day when they used to have families to get together and they disagree with each other. No. I did it in 2017. I said this means war. And what these people, what the Republican Party wants to do, they want to solidify the federal bench for the next 50 to 100 years. They are focusing on a cultural battle. We're going to play you the video a little bit later. We discuss the evangelicals, the crying and the whining and the wailing that you see here. Because, see, it stopped their progress. And Mitch McConnell, I'm telling you, Michael, I'm going to call it right now. Mitch McConnell will block everything for the next 4 years, waiting for a Republican president. That's how they going to roll.
I agree. And we were on a call the other day and talking about how, wondering if, maybe it's a good idea and Vice President Biden or President-elect Biden will have a good relationship with McConnell. They'll be able to do things together, whether it's infrastructure or things that really impact both red and blue states. And there's a divide. You know, there's some people that have the thought process that Shane has, and there are other folks that have the thought process that good doctor has, and then we'll see kind of what happens. But I think most people, and I think most importantly, the president-elect and vice president-elect think they need to have a much more aggressive approach and taking a no prisoners approach, because the federal bench, frankly, is almost solidified. I mean, McConnell and Trump got done what they needed to get done over the last 4 years relative to vacancies. Obama, frankly, and I know a lot of Obama lovers, and we all are, I get it, but he did a poor, terrible job relative to the federal bench. Now, I understand McConnell did a lot of blocking, but in those first couple of years, when he had the Senate, he could have flooded it just like 45 did. He chose not to. That wasn't a priority. And we're getting hit with that. Now, that's the past. Talking about now, present, and the future, so I want Vice President Harris and President-elect President-elect Biden to come to the table and say, look, McConnell is not a friend. He is not going to be helpful. So we have to legislate hard. I mean, the kind of legislation that you're going to put in front of the Senate that does help red and blue states at the same time. So these folks get phone calls from their constituents saying, why aren't you supporting that bill? Yeah, I don't like Biden, but this bill is going to help me. It's going to help my family. It's going to give me a job. It's going to make my quality of life better. This is where legislation becomes important, because the court part, you certainly can't rely on. You can't rely on McConnell opening the doors and saying, oh, great, whatever Nancy Pelosi wants to do, I'm going to pass. So we have to have strong legislation that impacts folks, whether you're in a red state or a blue state.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, at Seek.com, I want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this Black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you listen to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound. So literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a sister. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. Some great gifts. In fact, my birthday in 9 days. So I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered.